So today I would like to give a 4-hour lecture here to help people understand what has been my work and my project, and basically starting from what has been my research in the last 30 years and how this has led to a more refined theory of how to design protocols for rehabilitation for dystonia. At that time I was doing my doctoral thesis in the Faculty of Medicine, and I was affected by dystonia. And I was very interested in developing a protocol, and I didn't have it. I didn't have a proper protocol. And I decided to take the mission, dedicate a life in refining the concept and improving it. And the more that I studied, the more complex it became, and the more refined it became at the same time. And people, one thing led to another. I started with hand dystonia, because that was the dystonia that I was familiar with. And then patients were coming that were not affected by hand dystonia, and I started learning and developing protocols for them, and they were producing results, good results. And one thing led to another, and now we have a multinational project going on. In the past, there was a field, since the 70s, there was a field of research, but was more in neurobiology, but in hard research and animal models and all that. But getting into the practical aspects of it and mixing with rehabilitation, mixing with physical therapy, this is actually quite new. And the young generation of therapists are very interested. The word neuromodulation just means that the brain modulates or regulates its function. And it's just one aspect, because neurostimulation is one word. That means that you can activate areas that are not properly activated. You can do neuromodulation up or down. It's like using a dial to improve function by regulating. If you're responding more, you can reduce. If you're responding too little, you can improve. You can increase. So that's neuromodulation, but you also have neurorelaxation. These are all concepts that come from neurological rehabilitation theory. And it's true that probably because the research on DBS is a process of producing neuromodulation using a device. So there has been research on new models of the condition, and that has helped a lot on the other field that is producing the same without the device, naturally. But the two theories converge, and one helps the other, because the models that they have developed in order to improve DBS function are actually precious for people who do rehabilitation, because they are helping us understand what actually happens when a person recovers doing exercises. One thing that happened in the past is that all these non-motor symptoms of dystonia were considered comorbidities. So it's like it has nothing to do with dystonia. And now with recent research, we know that those are part of the condition. And there's a moment that we need to treat that. And the moment came, and now it's not a comorbidity, it's not a coincidence. It's actually part of your syndrome, and you need to get treatment for that. It depends on how affected you are with the kind of dystonia that you have, and also in order to change the brain, you need time. Because the brain is plastic, but doesn't like it. It's like the brain fights back plasticity. And you can even observe that with DBS. DBS, they need to correct the protocols because the brain gets used to it and changes. It's a moving target. It's also true that dystonia, if you study the neurobiological model of dystonia, it produces, not in every patient, but in many patients, it affects self-motivation. So we have a problem. So if dystonia affects self-motivation, and in order to do neurorehabilitation based on my model or all the models, going to physical therapy every week for 2 years, this requires to be committed. And if dystonia itself may produce depression in lots of patients, as you know, it's like it can affect, some forms of dystonia produce depression in 85% of the patients. So how you work on that? That's why we have a psychotherapist who is actually Dutch, taking care of our patients, because we need to guarantee that they are motivated enough in order to start. And they need to maintain the motivation in order to get results. So what I want in this tour, that is an European tour, is that in every place I go in Europe, and in the future it will be Asia too, is I find therapists that are interested, and we create teams, and we develop protocols, and they help us. So actually, the team that we have now that I actually love, because they are people extremely prepared and motivated and very generous. And those were my patients or were people who I met in lectures. So I'm continuing these processes, like gathering people who are interested and who want to help the community and want to be part of this project to help more people. Because this is not about competing with different approaches. It's about if you want to get the best treatment available, and we have the pharmacological treatment, we have a surgical treatment, we have the injections, what else we can provide? And that's a huge conversation. There are many things that can help. Rehabilitation needs to become a part of your life. So it's not a short-term intervention. It's the program educates, helps you understand what you are dealing with, and give you tools to improve the quality of your life. And then without us, you need to maintain it. So nothing is passive in a condition like this that is based on movement. So you will need to move.